When my fiancée chose her ex over me, I chose myself and built a better life. I called off my engagement to my fiancée. After she told me she needed a break to reconnect with her ex, I ended up selling our house and vanishing from the picture. Hey everyone, after what feels like forever, I figured it was finally time to open up about everything that's been happening in my life. So here's the deal. Up until pretty recently, I truly believed I was about to marry the woman of my dreams, Amanda, a 24-year-old woman I'd been with for 3 solid years. For the most part, I thought what we had was unshakable. But now, sitting here and looking back, I can't help but wonder how I missed all the warning signs. Amanda and I first crossed paths at a birthday party, introduced by a friend we both knew. She had this quick wit, this confidence about her, and a no-nonsense attitude that I immediately found refreshing. I had dated a few people before her, sure, but none of them clicked with me the way Amanda did. We hit it off almost instantly, and after about a year of dating, we decided to move in together. Everything just felt easy and right, like we were naturally aligned when it came to careers, marriage, and eventually starting a family. She worked as a freelance graphic designer, and I was managing projects at a tech company, so our daily schedules lined up nicely. Life wasn't some flashy movie scene, but it was good, comfortable, and real. We had tossed around the idea of marriage for a while, but it wasn't until last year that I officially popped the question. Nothing extravagant, just a quiet dinner at home, just the two of us. Amanda looked overjoyed. She cried, threw her arms around me, and said yes. That night, we stayed up late, talking about the life we were about to build together. We had talked about a cozy fall wedding, keeping the guest list small, and picking out this beautiful little spot by the lake. It felt like everything was lining up just right, or at least, that's what I believed at the time. Looking back, the first warning signs were small and easy to miss. Tiny cracks, honestly, things I chose to overlook because I didn't want to start second-guessing everything. Take Amanda's excitement about planning the wedding, for instance. In the beginning, she was completely invested. She'd send me Pinterest links filled with wedding ideas, dig through endless outfit choices, and even get my opinion on little details, like whether we should have tulips or roses at the tables. Then, almost overnight, all of that just faded away. I'd ask her casual questions, like, "Hey, have you decided on your bridesmaids yet?" And she'd brush it off with a quick shrug. "Not yet. Still thinking about it," she'd say again and again. And it wasn't just that one thing. It became a pattern. Her dress? Postponed. The cake? No real interest. The music playlist we once spent nights working on? Suddenly pushed aside like it barely mattered. "There's still time," she would tell me, almost like the wedding wasn't even on her radar anymore. At the time, I convinced myself it was nothing more than nerves. I mean, planning a wedding can be crazy stressful, right? Plus, Amanda had a lot on her plate with her freelance gigs. I figured it was just a rough patch she'd bounce back from. What I didn't realize then was that her distance had nothing to do with flower arrangements or cake flavors. It had everything to do with us. And the real gut punch? That hit me hard one night when we were out with a group of friends. Somehow, the conversation that night drifted over to one of those ridiculous TikTok games. You've probably seen it. It's the one where you have to answer really personal questions without showing any emotion or judging anyone's answers. At first, it was all laughs and harmless fun. But then someone asked, if you could relive one relationship, which one would it be? And without even pausing to think, Amanda blurted out, "Oh, probably Jason." Just like that. Jason, her ex from college. The same guy who cheated on her, tore her up inside, and left her a mess. The second his name left her mouth, the entire room kind of froze. You could almost hear the air leave the space. Amanda let out this awkward little laugh and immediately tried to smooth things over. "I mean, not like I'd want to," she said quickly. "It's just, it was a big part of my life. I wanted so badly to call her out right there in front of everyone. But being surrounded by friends, I decided to bite my tongue and keep it together." Amanda just shrugged it off like it was nothing. "It was a dumb game, Eric. You're overthinking it," she said with a grin, brushing past it like it didn't matter. I didn't push any further because, honestly, the last thing I wanted was to blow up a silly moment into a full-blown argument. Still, deep down, that moment dug its way in and stuck with me. And after that night, the little things about her started getting harder and harder to ignore. I noticed she was on her phone more often, texting away with this playful, almost guilty smile she didn't even bother hiding. Lately, she started coming up with vague excuses for why she couldn't hang out or would back out of plans at the last second. Most of the time, she'd toss out something like, "Oh, sorry, I've got a ton of work to catch up on tonight." Other times, it was, "I promised my mom I'd spend the weekend with her." None of the reasons seemed too strange on their own, but after a while, they started piling up. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was slipping further down her list of priorities. Then Friday night rolled around, and everything shifted. I got home from work earlier than usual, excited for a laid-back evening with Amanda. I had this picture in my head of us ordering some takeout and diving into a show, just a cozy, quiet night together. But the moment I walked through the door, something felt off. She was sitting on the couch with her laptop open, but it was clear she wasn't getting anything done. She just sat there, staring blankly at the screen. "Hey, I'm home," I said softly, trying to break the tension hanging in the air. "You're early," she replied, her voice making it sound more like an inconvenience than a pleasant surprise. I let it slide, heading into the kitchen to start pulling dinner together, but the silence in the house was suffocating. Usually, she'd be full of questions about my day or stories from hers. Tonight, nothing. Just a heavy, awkward stillness between us. Eventually, I glanced over and asked, "Is everything okay?" She closed her laptop slowly and turned to look at me. "Actually, there's something I need to talk to you about," she said. And just like that, my stomach dropped. You know that sinking feeling you get when you sense something bad is about to happen, but you're powerless to stop it? That was me, standing there like a fool, still holding a spatula in one hand. I walked over and sat down across from her, trying to keep my cool. "All right," I said. "What's going on?" She hesitated for a moment, like she was trying to line up the right words, but then she just blurted it out. "I've been thinking a lot about us, and about Jason." I nearly laughed right there. "Jason? Are you kidding me? What about him?" She bit down on her lip and looked away, refusing to meet my eyes. I just need some time to sort things out," she mumbled. "I want to take a break and see if there's still something between me and him." I couldn't even process what I was hearing. "You want to take a break to date your ex?" I said, my voice rising. "Amanda, are you seriously out of your mind? We're engaged." "It's not like that," she rushed to explain, like she could somehow make this sound reasonable. "I just need to be sure I'm making the right decision with you. And if it doesn't work out," she added quickly, "I promise I'll come back." That's when it hit me, just how deep her nerve ran. I didn't shout or lose my temper. I just sat there, staring at her, trying to figure out how I could have been so blind to all the signs. At first, I didn't even know what to say. I mean, what words are there when your fiancée sits you down and tells you she wants to take a break so she can explore things with her ex, Jason? After a long pause, I finally managed to speak. "So, what exactly does this break mean to you?" My voice came out way calmer than how I actually felt inside. She straightened up a bit, like she had rehearsed for this moment. "I just think we need some space to figure things out," she said. "I want to take some time to see if what I feel for Jason is still real. And maybe you can take this time to think about us too." I could hardly believe what I was hearing. I leaned in and asked, "Hold on, you're telling me you want to date your ex, but I'm supposed to sit here reflecting on our relationship? Does that even make sense to you?" Amanda let out a heavy sigh, like I was the one being difficult. "This isn't about you doing anything wrong, Eric," she said, her tone clipped and mechanical. "This is about me figuring out what I need." It hit me then. She must have been preparing for this conversation for a while. The way she spoke, the way she refused to meet my eyes, it was clear she had already made up her mind and just needed me to accept it. "You realize this sounds completely insane, right?" I muttered under my breath. "You don't just hit pause on your fiancé to go see if some loser who treated you like trash is still an option." Her face tightened, her jaw set hard, and for the first time, I really saw just how stubborn she could be. "I'm not asking for your permission, Eric," she said firmly. "I'm telling you what I need." That hit me differently, deeper. At that point, I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was furious. I got up and started pacing the room, trying to walk off the heat rising in my chest. "So what now, Amanda?" I snapped. "You're just going to throw some clothes in a bag and head straight to Jason's place? That your grand plan?" "No," she shot back quickly. "It's not like that. I don't even know what it's going to look like yet. I need some clarity before we move forward. I owe it to myself to be sure I'm making the right choice." I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "You owe it to yourself?" I repeated, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "And what about what you owe me, huh? We're engaged, Amanda. We're supposed to be building a life together. And now you're standing here telling me you need to go test drive your ex to figure out if I'm enough for you. I never said you weren't good enough." She shot back, her voice getting louder, more defensive. "But if we're going to spend our whole lives together, I have to be sure. And right now, I'm not." That was it. It wasn't just about Jason anymore. It was about me. After 3 years, after everything we'd planned and dreamed about, she still wasn't sure. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. She honestly didn't see how cruel, how downright ridiculous, her so-called plan sounded. She really believed I'd just sit around patiently while she chased after whatever nonsense was swirling around in her head. I stopped pacing and turned to face her, really taking her in. "You know what?" I said, my voice flat and emotionless. "Fine. Take your break." She blinked at me, clearly caught off guard by how easily I agreed. "Eric, I'm not trying to hurt you," she said quickly. I need some space to figure things out." I nodded slowly, keeping my face calm and unreadable. "If that's what you need," I said. She hesitated, almost like she was waiting for me to argue, to fight for her to stay. But when I didn't, she slowly got up, grabbed her laptop, and mumbled, "I'll crash at my mom's for a while." "This isn't forever," she added quickly. "We'll talk once I've had some time to think." "Okay," I replied, keeping my voice even. She gave me one last look, like she was searching for some kind of reaction, but when she didn't find it, she turned and disappeared into the bedroom. I could hear her rummaging around, throwing things into a bag. I stayed put on the couch, outwardly calm, even though my mind was racing a mile a minute. If she needed space, she could have it. If she really wanted a break, I wasn't going to stand in her way. A few minutes later, I heard the front door click shut. She was gone, probably thinking she had left me here to stew and fall apart, thinking I'd sit around, waiting and worrying. What she didn't know was that I wasn't about to just sit there doing nothing. She could chase whatever fantasy she thought she needed, but I had my own plans now. This wasn't going to end the way she expected. Update 1. Thanks so much for all the feedback and advice you guys gave me on my last post. It's been a crazy week, and I wanted to jump back in and give you an update on how things are going. First off, a huge thank you to everyone in this community for the amazing support. A lot of you pointed out that I shouldn't just sit around waiting, and you were absolutely right. I've been busy getting everything set into motion. First thing I did was call my buddy Brian. We've been best friends since college, and he's never been the type to sugarcoat anything. After I laid out the whole story, he showed up with a pizza under one arm, and we spent half the night plotting things out. "Man, you know she's gonna come crawling back once it blows up with Jason, right?" Brian said between bites. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. The longer we talked, the clearer it became. I needed to take action, not just sit back and hope for the best. This wasn't about revenge, it was about taking my life back. I decided to start with the house. Funny thing is, Amanda always acted like it was our place, always talking about the curtains she picked out or the paint colors she liked, but somehow she forgot that the mortgage. That's all on me. The deed? Also just me. First thing Tuesday morning, I called up a real estate agent. The agent came by that afternoon, walked through the place, and we agreed to list it immediately. Turns out the market in our neighborhood is smoking hot right now, and we already have several serious buyers lining up. Amanda doesn't have a clue. She probably thinks I'm still holed up in our house, just waiting around for her to figure things out. Meanwhile, I was working on the next part of the plan, starting the slow process of cutting her out of my life. Remember those cheesy love signs she insisted on hanging up all over the house? Gone. Those fancy throw pillows she just had to have? Donated. As for the clothes and personal stuff she left behind, I didn't just toss them out, I packed everything up carefully. But here's where I decided to get a little strategic. Instead of calling her up and asking her to come pick it all up, or dragging it over to her mom's myself, I hired a moving company. They boxed everything up and dropped it off at her mother's house, along with a simple little note. "Here's your stuff. Good luck with Jason." Now, some folks might say that was petty. I don't see it that way. This wasn't about revenge. It was about efficiency. She said she needed space to figure things out. Well, now she's got all the space she could ever want. The best part? The real fun started when our mutual friends started poking around, asking what happened. I didn't trash her name or play the heartbroken victim. I just told the truth, plain and simple. Amanda decided she needed to see if there was still something with her ex before getting married. I decided I deserved better than being anyone's backup plan. And let me tell you, it's wild to see how people react when you stick to the facts. No drama, no blaming, just the truth. Turns out, when you don't try to control the story, it kind of unfolds exactly how it should. On top of all that, I've been making some moves at work too. I finally applied for a position I'd had my eye on for a long time, something that could really take my career to the next level. If the house sells, and honestly, it's looking like it will, and if I land this new job, I'll be starting fresh on the opposite side of the country. Amanda's been trying to reach out to me a lot this past week. It started with casual, almost cheerful texts like, "Hope you're doing okay." But once she realized I was actually making real moves instead of just sitting around, her messages started sounding a lot more panicked. Yesterday, she completely freaked out after her mom told her the moving boxes had shown up. She texted me, "What are you doing? Why are you acting like it's over?" I didn't get into a whole back and forth. I just kept it short. "It is over. Amanda, you made your decision, and now I'm making mine. She broke down crying, saying she only needed some time to figure things out, that I was moving too fast, and that this wasn't what she meant when she asked for a break. I asked her straight up, what did you expect? You thought I was going to just sit around like some loyal puppy while you went off and test drove your ex? I shook my head. That's not how this works. She kept sobbing and said, but what if I realize you're the one I want? I told her, plain and simple, then you'll have learned an important lesson about not taking the people who care about you for granted. And with that, I ended the call. The crazy part? I'm not even mad anymore. Instead, there's this strange sense of freedom settling in. Every box I tape shut, every step I take toward this move feels like I'm piecing myself back together, finding parts of me I didn't even realize I had let go of. Brian swung by again yesterday to help me pack up the house. He picked up on it right away. You seem different, he said. More focused, maybe. And he's not wrong. I am different now. When Amanda first told me she wanted to give things another shot with Jason, it felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. But looking back now, I realize it wasn't my world falling apart. It was the fake version of my life I had been clinging to finally crumbling to pieces. I've got a few more developments brewing, but I'm going to save those for the next update. For now, let me just leave you with this. Sometimes the best way to respond to someone treating you like a backup plan is to take yourself completely off their roster. Stick around, this story's far from over. Something tells me Amanda's little break to figure things out isn't going to pan out the way she thought it would. Update 2. Thanks for all the feedback on my last post. A lot has happened since then, and I wanted to catch you up on how things have progressed. Remember when I mentioned that I applied for a new job at the office? Well, good news, I got it. The offer came through at the perfect time. On top of that, the house is officially under contract, and if all goes smoothly, we're set to close next month. But honestly, that's just the beginning. The real twist comes with how Amanda's little reunion with Jason is shaping up. Through a few shared acquaintances, I found out that their so-called rekindled romance isn't the fairy tale she was hoping for. Turns out, 3 years haven't changed him at all. He's still the same shady guy who cheated on her back in college. But here's where it gets even better. Amanda's been trying to spin the story on social media, painting a picture that's a whole lot different from reality. Lately, Amanda's been posting all these vague, feel-good quotes about finding yourself and following your heart. So, I figured I'd join the game, just with a little twist of my own. I put up one simple, straightforward post. Life update. Thrilled to share that I've accepted a new job offer in San Diego. Sometimes when one door closes, even better ones open. Excited for the next chapter. And man, the comments and texts came flooding in. People started congratulating me left and right, asking about the big move, and, naturally, a bunch of them brought up Amanda too. I kept my responses short and honest. We're not together anymore. She wanted to see what else was out there, and now, so am I. And just like that, it triggered this amazing ripple effect in our social circle. A lot of folks who had been kind of on the fence about the whole thing, well, once they saw how I was handling it, staying calm and classy, while Amanda kept throwing up cryptic relationship quotes online, the whole vibe shifted. The judgment disappeared, and so did the sympathy for her. Then came the unexpected professional fallout. See, Amanda's freelance graphic design work mainly runs on word-of-mouth referrals and networking. Kelly, a mutual friend of ours who's about 26 and pretty well connected in the tech world, was one of the people who used to send a lot of business Amanda's way. Kelly reached out and asked if we could grab coffee. When we sat down, she leaned in and said, I need to know what really happened. Amanda's been going around telling people that we're just taking a break to work on ourselves, but honestly, something about it didn't sit right with me. I ended up showing Kelly the note where Amanda admitted she wanted to start seeing Jason. The look Kelly gave me said everything. She wasn't buying Amanda's story for a second. By the end of that week, several potential clients started pulling back from working with Amanda. Not because I went around trash-talking her. I didn't. But let's be real. Nobody wants to hire someone who treats serious commitments like they're optional. Amanda could feel the tide turning against her. That's when her messages started coming in faster, and they sounded more desperate each time. Why are you telling everyone about Jason? You're destroying my reputation. This isn't fair. I just needed some space to think. I kept my reply short and to the point. You asked for time and distance, and you got it. Now what I do with my life isn't your business anymore. Then the real kicker happened. Jason, brilliant guy that he is, posted a picture of the two of them having dinner at the exact same restaurant where Amanda and I had our first date. It was crystal clear she was trying to recreate our memories with him. It was honestly a weird mix of pathetic and hilarious. The photo didn't stay up long, but the damage had already been done. Our mutual friends saw it, and the few people who had still been rooting for Amanda finally started losing respect for her. Even her own sister reached out to me, apologizing. "I'm so sorry about how she's handling this," she said. "You deserve way better." And the best part? I didn't have to lift a finger for any of it. I didn't need revenge. The truth handled everything on its own. I just kept living my life, open and honest, while Amanda kept trying to play both sides like nobody would notice. But the thing about the truth? It always finds its way out. She actually showed up at my office yesterday. Turns out, Jason had already started showing his true colors, flirting with other women, lying, acting shady, the usual story. Amanda showed up in tears. "I made a huge mistake," she sobbed. "I was scared to commit. I thought maybe there was something better out there, but I was wrong. You're the best thing that ever happened to me." I just sat there, looking at her, calm as could be. "No, Amanda," I said quietly. "The best thing that ever happened to me was you showing your true self before we ever got married." She scrambled to argue, saying we could work things out, that she'd go to therapy, that she could prove she was trustworthy again. I just shook my head. "You still don't get it, do you?" I said. "This was never really about Jason. It's about you thinking you could keep me on the back burner while you went out searching for something better. That's not love. That's just using someone for your own convenience." She left my office in tears, but honestly, I felt lighter than I had in months. The house sale closes next week. Most of my stuff is already boxed up, and in about a month, I'll be starting fresh in San Diego. It's funny, some people say I'm being too harsh. Everyone makes mistakes, they tell me. But here's the thing, this wasn't some random slip-up. It was a deliberate choice. Every time she texted Jason, she made that choice all over again. Every time she lied about where she was, she made another choice. One more decision to put our relationship on pause without even telling me. She spent all her time setting things up so she could hit the brakes on us whenever it suited her. Every lie, every excuse, none of it was accidental. It was all intentional. I'll share another update once I'm fully settled after the move. For now, I'll leave you with this. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't getting even, it's getting better. And that's exactly what I'm focused on. Now, on to the next and final update, Update 3. Thanks for sticking with me through all of this. I've got some pretty wild news to share. San Diego has been everything I hoped it would be. My new apartment? It has this incredible view of the bay that I still can't believe is real. The tech scene out here is buzzing with energy, and my new team at work is absolutely top-notch. It's honestly such a breath of fresh air being surrounded by people who care more about growing and building things than stirring up pointless drama. But let's rewind a little. Let me tell you how things wrapped up back home first. The closing went off without a hitch, and the house even sold for more than the original asking price, which was a nice bonus. Hearing how Amanda reacted was almost amusing. She didn't believe I had actually sold the place, not until she drove by and saw the new owners moving their stuff in. And that's when things got even more interesting. Remember Jason? Yeah, he ended up reaching out to me, of all people. Jason ended up sending me a long message, trying to explain himself. He said he never intended to stir up any trouble, and apparently it was Amanda who had reached out to him first, months before she ever brought up taking a break with me. Turns out, Amanda had been setting up her little exploration plan for a long time. She'd been messaging Jason for months behind my back, slowly laying the foundation for her backup option. And the best part? The irony of it all. Jason eventually broke up with her, told me straight up, if she could do this to you, she could do it to anyone. Meanwhile, Amanda's professional life started crumbling hard. Remember all those clients she had lined up? Yeah, most of them found other designers, not because I badmouthed her or anything, but because word gets around fast in our industry. One of her biggest clients even reached out to me directly. "We heard about what happened with your engagement," they said. "We're looking for someone who's serious about long-term commitments. Do you know any reliable designers?" I ended up recommending a talented acquaintance of mine, and she landed the contract. Guess you could call that karma doing its thing. Amanda's meltdown on social media was something else to watch. First came the sad quotes about losing your true love, then came the angry rants about toxic people who couldn't handle growth. And then, of course, the desperate posts trying to show how ridiculously happy she was. The final post really caught my attention. She claimed she was starting her own design firm. Funny enough, just 3 days later, she was already sending out job applications. And just last week, her sister got in touch with me again. From what I've heard, Amanda's been crashing at her parents' place lately, saying she needs time to heal after our breakup. Her sister put it bluntly, she honestly thought you'd just wait around for her. Selling the house and moving away shattered that little fantasy for good. One of the most satisfying moments came during a video call with some of our old friends. They were swapping local gossip when someone mentioned spotting Amanda at a coffee shop, trying to explain to a potential client why her portfolio website was down. The kicker? She forgot that I was the one who built and maintained that site in the first place. When her hosting plan expired, she had no clue how to fix it, and honestly, that's no longer my problem. Meanwhile, my new life here is shaping up better than I ever imagined. I joined a local cycling club, started learning French, and even adopted a dog from a nearby shelter. His name's Milo, and honestly, he's already proven to be a better companion than my ex-fiancée ever was. The tech community out here has been incredibly welcoming too. Just last week, I was invited to speak at a developer conference, something that never would have happened if I'd stayed back home, weighed down by all that baggage. It's wild what you can accomplish once you stop dragging deadweight behind you. I did have one final interaction with Amanda. She emailed me, asking if I could send her some old pictures from the cloud storage we used to share. But I'd already downloaded what I wanted weeks ago and shut down the entire account. Her email read, "I know you're trying to erase me from your life, but you can't just delete our memories. Those 3 years meant something." I kept my reply short and honest. "You're right. Those 3 years taught me exactly what I don't want in a partner. Thanks for the lesson. Some of our mutual acquaintances think I'm being too harsh, that I should be more understanding, chalk it up to a moment of confusion. But the truth is, it wasn't just a moment. It was a carefully thought-out choice, a decision to keep me around as her safety net while she chased what she thought might be a better deal. So, what's the biggest thing I've taken away from all this? Sometimes, the worst experiences end up leading to the best possible outcomes. If Amanda hadn't shown her true colors when she did, I might have actually gone through with marrying her, only to discover the real her years down the road, maybe even with kids caught in the mess. Instead, here I am, living in an incredible city, working a job I love, making new friends, and feeling genuinely excited about what's ahead. The sting of betrayal has been replaced by something way better, gratitude for the bullet I dodged. Thank you to everyone who's followed my journey and shared advice along the way. Your encouragement helped keep me grounded when it would have been easier to slip back into old habits. And if you're reading this while going through something similar, hear me out. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Don't stick around hoping they'll change or wake up one day and treat you differently. Life's too short to be someone's backup plan. Sometimes the smartest, strongest move you can make is to walk away and start building a life that's better for you. That's all from me, guys. This chapter of my life is officially closed, and honestly, I can't wait to see what's next. Take care, and thank you, truly, for everything. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to hear more interesting stories.